singing the songs? You know what happens? You guys start singing along, I don't have to. I can rest, I don't have to work that hard. But you know, speaking of working hard, this next guy has been part of Petra for all 50 years. And a long time ago, Bob would come out and actually share some moments, and they stopped because I kept calling him Uncle Bob. It's Uncle Bob. He told me not to ever do that again, so I'm not. But Bob does have a story for you tonight. Do anyone want to hear this?
Yeah, go.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to give this mic, my mic. I'm going to let the guitar player use the lead singer's mic. He better be feeling pretty blessed. Years. 1972. In 1972, we had a corrupt president. We were in a war we shouldn't have been in. Interest rates were high and gas was in short supply. So not much has changed. But a lot has changed in the church, because when we started out, we were gung-ho, thinking that churches were just going to love us, because we're trying to reach people that they couldn't reach. And we would go out there and find out that churches were praying against us, find out that sometimes they picketed our concerts, and preachers all across the country were saying rock and roll music was of the devil, and that we were of the devil for playing it. And we got kind of discouraged, you know. We came from a great church that was very progressive, with means to reach all people with all things, you know. And so it was hard for us to understand. We didn't catch on right away. But after a while, we began to realize that those churches didn't want to reach those people. Now, Jesus said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. So sometimes I wonder if he's going to sit us all down in heaven and say, I gave you one job. But we made it through because of testimonies like many of you have. People would come up to us and say, well, your music really touched me. It changed my life. It really had an impact on me. It kept me from committing suicide. Your music. And I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for those testimonies, we wouldn't have lasted. There's no way we could have lasted. Because it was God's little way of telling us, keep going. You're doing my will. You're preaching about me. Keep going. And so we did. And who would ever think that 50 years later, here we'd be on the stage in front of you good folks, able to look back on so many years, and we can truly say God has done exceedingly and abundantly above all we can expect. But as John said, now he kind of let the cat out of the bag. I do have a story. I have a early Petra story. Would you like to hear that? Okay, well, in the early days, we needed a place to practice, and we needed a place, to live. So we found this old house that was going to be torn down. It was in a commercial area, and the owner was trying to sell it, and he was going to, tear it down. They eventually made a furniture store out of it, but this old house was there, and so we went and asked him, hey, can we rent that till you sell it? And he said, well, okay. So we moved into this old house, and behind the house was a row of trees, and then there was a trailer park back there. But we used to bring our equipment down into the basement, and we had some padding up on the walls and everything. That's where we'd practice really Petra. Well, one day, we came back from a gig, and I was a little lazy, didn't feel like carrying my Marshall amp all the way down the steps by myself. So I set it up in the kitchen and cranked it up. And while I was playing Blues Legs, I heard the phone ringing. And so I answered the phone, and it was the co-pastor down the church about a mile away. And he says, "Are you playing guitar up there?" I thought, no way. No way he heard that. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, a woman from behind me just called me and said those boys are playing music real loud, and it doesn't sound like Christian music to me. It sounds like Viet Cong music." I was playing Viet Cong music and didn't know it. Didn't know it. Who would think? So, right now we're going to play some acoustic music. And when we get done, we're going to come back and play some more Viet Cong music for your listening pleasure.